Welcome students. This is Associate Professor Jaideep Manocha, Department of Information Technology, Arya College of Engineering and Information Technology, Jaipur. The lecture is for students of final year, Information Technology branch. Subject is software testing and validation. The topic is test planning. We have also published one lecture for this related to test planning. So we are going to cover the rest part of test planning in this video. As you know that in the last lecture we covered preparing a test plan, scope management that was related to deciding features to be tested or what not to be tested, deciding the approaches, setting up the criterias, identifying the responsibilities, staffing and training needs as well as resource requirements. So in this video we are going to finish the rest points. So let us start. You can see in this slide the rest points to be considered for test planning are identifying test deliverables, testing tasks in which we are going to take size and effort estimation, and furthermore you can see the third point as activity breakdown and scheduling. Next one is communication management, and the last one is risk management. So we will consider these points one by one. So let us start with the first point. You can see the next slide, that identifying test deliverables. So students, the test plan also identifies the deliverables that should come out of the test. That means what you are going to deliver. Okay. So the deliverables include the following things, as you can see on this slide. The first one is the test plan itself should be delivered as a master plan. Okay. The point number 2 is you have to specify all the test case designs. Point number 3 is you have to also set the test cases as output, including any automation that is specified by the plan. Okay. You have to produce the test logs and test summary reports. So it is all about that what we have to deliver in this step. Now we will take the next slide into account, that is testing tasks. So basically the scope identified above gives a broad view of what needs to be tested. Okay, broadly when we talk about testing of tasks related to size and effort estimation, then we can categorize these things in three phases. You can see here size estimation is there, effort estimation is there, and schedule estimation is there. So now we will take the first point into account, that is size of the product under test. You can see in this slide there are some important points related to it. The first one is LOC, that is line of code. You have studied about this in the subject software engineering. Okay. Second one is function point. Third one are some other points that we will be taking into account. Those are related to the simpler representation of the application size. Okay, that means number of screen, reports, transaction, etc. So let us talk about it. Size of under test. Okay, this obviously determines the amount of testing that needs to be done. That means this step is going to check that what amount of testing you will perform, how much it is needed. The larger the product in general, greater is the size of testing to be done. So we can take some measures into account that are shown on this slide. First one is line of code. So as you know that line of code is a somewhat controversial measure, as it depends on the language, style of programming, compactness of programming, and so on. So LOC is the measure factor that represents size estimate only for the coding phase and not for the other phases, such as requirements, designs are not related to LOC. Okay. So second point is function point. That is a popular method to estimate the size of an application. We have to consider it. Function points basically provide a representation of application size, but these are independent of any programming language. The application feature, which is also known as functions, are basically classified as inputs, outputs, interfaces. You can also consider the external data files and the inquiries. Okay, so these are increasingly complex and hence are assigned increasingly higher weights. Okay, so this is the major factor that is to be considered while testing of tasks. So this methodology of estimating size or complexity of an application is comprehensive in terms of taking into account the realistic features of the product. And the major challenge that we have to consider in this method is that it requires formal training and it is not easy to use. Okay, now you can see the third point. This is related to the simpler representation of the application size. So you have to consider number of screens here, number of reports, how many transactions are there. Each of these can be further classified as simple, medium or complex. You can see here. Okay, that means simpler representation, medium kind of representation and complex kind of representation. So lot of things are there. Those are also required along with these things, that means with LOC and function pointing and the next one is sizing of the application or representation of application size. So these points are basically the first point. You can see here in the next slide, extent of automation required. That means when automation is involved, the size of works to be done for testing will increase. Okay, you can also consider the second point, number of platforms and interoperability environments to be tested. That means this is again the factor that will that is going to influence the size, okay, or estimation. Now we can also express size estimates in terms of some new things like number of test cases, number of test scenarios, number of configurations to be tested. As well as we have to check the productivity data, reuse opportunities and processes robustness. That means robustness of the processes, that how much robust the processes are. Okay, so basically when we talk about robustness, we have to say that well documented standards for writing test applications, test scripts should be there, proven processes should be there, consistent way of training people should be there. Okay, so these are the things that we consider under the point size and estimation related to testing of tasks. So now we take the next slide into account, that is activity breakdown and scheduling. What is it? Activity breakdown and schedule estimation basically touches translating the effect required into specific time frames. You can take the following steps, make up this translation into account. You can see the first point, identifying external and internal dependencies. So next is sequencing of the activities. Next one is identifying the time required for each kind of activity and taking all the time frames into account. You have to monitor the progress in terms of time and effort, because we are considering the point scheduling. So obviously time is a great factor, and we also have to rebalance all the schedules and resources as necessaries. So as you know that in the first point we have discussed that we have to identify the external and internal dependencies. Fine. So let us see that what these external dependencies are and internal dependencies are. Basically, external dependencies are availability of the product from developers, hiring, training, acquisition of the hardware software required for training, availability of translated messages, files for testing, and as well as we have to see internal dependencies. These are completing the test specification, coding, scripting, and as well as execution of the test. Okay, so these are the points, those are considered under the point activity breakdown and scheduling. Students, the testing activities will also face parallelism constraints that will further restrict the activities that can be done at a time. Let's say we are taking an example that certain tests cannot be run together because let's say there is a conflict. That means we are running some tests, but there is a confliction between some tests. So in these conditions, I will explain by one example that requiring different versions of a component for testing. If it is there, then conflictions will be there. Okay, so we have to also check for these things. So when we talk about the external dependencies and internal dependencies, then based on the dependencies and the parallelism possible, these test activities are scheduled in a sequence. Why we are scheduling in a sequence? Because when we schedule these things in a sequence, that helps in accomplishing the activities in the minimum possible time, touching the time frames. Okay, so that will take care of all the dependencies. You can go for any kind of Gantt chart like representation for this. Okay, now we consider the next point, that is communication management. It involves a lot of things. Basically, it consists of involving and following procedures for communication that ensures that everyone is kept in a synchronization with the right level of details. Okay, so this is your communication management. Clear? Because we don't want to keep anyone idle. We want to complete our work on time. We want that each and everyone is doing with its own details and with its own proper work. Okay, so this is the main factor. So now there is a major topic, that is risk management, which is considered at the last in test planning. So you can see in this diagram, you can see this diagram. Risk identification is a part, risk quantification is a part, response of risk, and mitigation planning is there. So how you will perform risk management, or how you will manage the risk. So students, we will take this point into detail. Just like every project, testing project is also facing risk. Risks are the events that could potentially affect a project's outcome. That means output can be affected. So these events are normally beyond the control of a manager. You can see the figure. Basically, it entails the four things: identification, quantification, response, and mitigation planning. So students, let us discuss. The first point, risk identification. Basically, it includes of identifying the possible risks that may hit a project. Although there could potentially be many risks that can hit a project. So what we have to do, how we can identify the risks in testing. So we can use the following solutions. You can see point number 1, use of checklists. Over time you can prepare some checklists and you have to go through. The second point is you can take use of any history. If there is any history of the organization, if there are some historical matrices, you can take the help of these matrices to avoid the risk. You can take also use of informal networking across the industry. Okay, so these are the major things. So when we talk about risk encountered in testing projects and their characteristics, then what things could be there, those are basically influencing a risk. Okay, so you can see some points here. If the requirements are unclear, the first point is, if the requirements are unclear, risk will be there. If the schedule are dependent, that means dependency is lot. That means you are completing one task and the second task is dependent. If the first one is not completed, it is going to influence the second one. Okay, then there will be a risk. Insufficient time of testing, if it is there, then obviously risk will be there. Availability of skilled and motivated people for testing should be there. If it is not, that means experts are not there, risks will be high. Okay, and if you are having inability to get a test automation tool, obviously risks will be high. We have summarized some risks, their symptoms, impacts, and mitigation plans in this table. You can see at this slide some risks are there. So you have to study all these points so that you can take the depth knowledge of this topic. Okay, so this is all about test planning. So when we make a better test plan, we can manage better, we can execute better. In the next lecture, we are going to consider the next topic, that is test management. So till then, thank you.